morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday morning class. I'm Mickey. I'm coming to sit just for a moment on the blanket. I'm just going to talk about props for a minute. Here's Christian, my husband. He is going to play his Rav Vast for us. So we're actually going to come onto our back. And I love that when my yoga teacher says, we're going to come onto our back. I'm like, yes. So we're gonna do that unless you want to practice from a chair. I have a chair here. If you prefer to sit in a chair, you're welcome to. I also have a strap, and you can use anything like I don't know, sash of a robe or even a kitchen towel. So we'll have a strap close by because we were getting some requests for low body. And then if you have blocks, you could use that. And then if you have any pillows or blankets, have those handy as well. So we'll come into what's called constructive rest pose. So if you'd like a little heart opener, this might feel good. You could take your blanket and just make a very small roll. And then that will go on the top of your mat, right where your heart is going to land. So I'll walk myself forward, come onto my seat, press the chair away for a little bit, and then take my hands to help lean myself back, allowing that small roll to rest right underneath your heart. You might sigh when you arrive. If that feels painful or uncomfortable, just move the blanket off to the side or unroll it. And then with my arms, I can really rest them out in a cactus. But if that's not comfortable, you could maybe bring them to rest on your belly. And this might allow you to tune into your breath. With your legs, you can either plant your feet on the mat, you might allow your knees to tent towards each other, or maybe you bring the soles of the feet to touch and allow the knees to open out wide. This could be a nice hip opener, and you could use the blocks for support underneath the knees so it wouldn't have to be as extreme. So just allow yourself this moment to settle in. Wherever you're at is the right place for you. You might close down the eyes or begin to soften the gaze, allowing your gaze to begin to turn inward. Allow your body to rest heavy on the earth. And at any point, if you start to feel uncomfortable, you can always change your mind. Allow yourself this ability to change your mind. You might cultivate a spirit of exploration, giving yourself permission to try new things. And as you begin to come into a more restful, peaceful shape, start to lengthen your breath. One of the 8 limbs of yoga is called pranayama. Pranayama means breath. You might start to cultivate what's called a ujjayi breathing. And you can stay laying on your back. I just came to sit for the reading that will be coming up. So ujjayi breathing is much like using your breath to fog up a mirror. So you can imagine if you were to have a mirror in front of your face and you were to exhale onto the mirror, you might hear the sound of that breath, and you could actually feel a slight constriction at the back of your throat. We'll do that same soothing exhale like fogging up a mirror, but maybe you could switch it from coming out of your mouth, sealing your mouth, and allowing the breath to come out through the nose. So we'll inhale through the nose, allowing the breath to soothe the back of the throat. And then allow your exhale to lengthen as you listen for the sound of your ocean breath. Imagine you're holding a big shell up to your ear. You can hear the sound of your breath. Allow it to soothe you. And just know that actually this practice of pranayama, ujjayi breathing, is always here for you, and maybe this is your practice today. Allowing yourself to breathe mindfully for as much time as you'd like to carve out. And that means the movement portion, everything about it is optional. Allow your awareness to drop like an anchor down from your heart or from your head space, down the stair steps of your spine, down into your heart center. And as you arrive at your heart center, you might notice a flickering flame. Maybe it's a beautiful bonfire or a gorgeous glowing candle. And as you arrive there in this welcoming space, take a moment to notice if there's a message for you there. If you'd like a suggestion for an intention for your practice today, the theme for class is Satya, which means truthfulness. But if there's any other intention for your practice, allow that intention to come to mind. I just have a short reading on the theme of Satya, truthfulness, from the book The Yamas and the Niyamas by Deborah Adele. She says, living the life that cries to be lived from the depths of our being frees up a lot of energy and vitality. The juices flow and everyone around us benefits from the aliveness that we feel. So if this idea of Satya, truthfulness, speaks to you, you are welcome to use it as an intention for your practice today. I'm just noticing what is true for you. If you feel that you'd like to leave that blanket roll where it is, if it's feeling good, you can leave it there. Or at any time, you can either roll over to one side and scooch the blanket off to the side, or you might press into your heels, lift your spine, and unroll that blanket. From here, we'll start to invite some movement, if you'd like to, into the body. And at any time, if you find that your mind starts to wander towards thoughts of the past or plans for the future, you might invite yourself back into your body and into your breath. Go ahead and open your arms out wide to the sides in a letter T shape. And if your knees are out to the sides, you can bring your hands down to your knees. Squeeze the knees together and then plant your feet on the mat. You might walk your feet as wide as the mat And then open your arms once more. On your next exhale, allow the knees to both fall over to the right. So that means that your left knee is going to fall down towards your right foot. You might feel a nice stretch through the front of your hip. Take some nice deep breaths. So just allowing that left knee to fall down towards the right foot. And you could even maybe stretch the left arm past the ear. On your next exhale, open your arms back out wide to the sides. And then as you inhale, you can lift the knees back up to center. With your feet as wide as the mat, we'll allow the knees to float over to the left this time. You could even turn your gaze over towards your right hand, or maybe you reach that right hand up past your ear, finding a stretch from your fingertips along your right side down towards your right knee. Take another nice deep breath here, and then you can float your arm back out into a T. And then maybe you just start to gently windshield wiper the knees a little bit side to side. Following the pace of your own breath, you can make this a really small movement too. You don't have to go to your absolute edge. Just allowing for a little bit of balance. Take one more nice deep breath here. And then I loved that idea that if you're feeling like it's too hard with the ground on your low back, you could use a blanket or a pillow underneath your low back, right underneath the sacrum. From here, let's find our strap, if you have one, or anything else that you could use for a strap. Could be a belt, could even be a kitchen towel. And we're going to hug the right knee in towards the body. You can hold on to the back of your thigh if that is accessible, or you can use the strap around your shin. Now you can either keep that left leg, the left foot on the mat, or you could start to slide the left leg long. Maybe even flexing the toes a little bit towards the knee, finding some space through the front of your left hip. You might rotate your right ankle, stretching through the muscles of the feet and helping to lubricate the joints. Take one more nice deep breath here. And then we'll release that right foot. Bring it back down to the mat. Slide your left foot in to meet it. And then we're going to try the other side, Apanasana. This is actually called wind relieving pose. So you can have a little chuckle about that if you'd like. Let's hug the left knee in towards the chest. You could wrap the hands behind the thighs would be another option. Or grab hold of the sides of your pant leg. Or use that strap around the shin. You might leave your right foot planted on the mat or slide the right leg long. I think I might have said left. I have a hard time with left and right. Go ahead and maybe draw a few circles with the left foot. Breathing into that ankle, all the muscles of the feet. Go ahead and reverse the direction. And if you're holding on to your leg or the strap, see about softening your grip. Thinking about that balance of effort and ease. Take one more nice deep breath here. Apanasana, wind relieving pose. Helping to give a compression to the digestive system. You can go ahead and release that foot back down to the mat. We'll slide both feet in, and then we're going to stretch through the leg. This one is called Supta, that means on your back. Padagustasana. These are all Sanskrit words, and I can't remember exactly the translation, but it's something like head to knee or head to, I don't know. We're going to stretch the right leg long in the strap now. So you can have the strap around the ball of the foot. You could also hold on to the leg if you don't have a strap. Maybe just holding on to the pant leg or behind the thigh. And then allow your heel to point up any amount. Now you might be here. Maybe this is where your stretch is. So just finding what works for you. Sometimes I might be too flexible. So don't try not to compare yourself like, what is she doing? You have a lot of choices. You could even bend the knee if that feels good. And all of this work to stretch through the legs with ourselves on our back, we can help to sort of allow the lymph to drain. At least that's what my teachers have said in class, so I'm just repeating what they're saying. But the idea is that you're flipping yourself upside down. Now you could also do this from a chair too. If you were sitting, you could extend the leg, wrap a strap around the foot. Hopefully we're finding some length through the back of the leg. On your next inhale, you can bring the strap now into your right hand. Allow the right leg to start to open out to the right, and you might even allow the left knee to open. I forgot to mention that you could be extending that left leg long on the mat instead. Just finding some stretch through the inseam of the leg. If you don't want to go too far, you could also recruit that block, or I have a bolster, and you could shimmy that support right underneath the thigh. Sometimes if you're near a wall, you could allow your foot to fall against the wall or a piece of furniture to help keep the leg lifted. Once more, allowing yourself to not have to go to the extreme-most edge. Take one more nice deep breath, and then we'll lift the leg back to center. You can bring the strap now into the left hand, and we're just going to allow the right leg to gently cross the midline, any amount. So you don't have to roll onto your side to come into a twist, unless that feels good and you want to do a twist instead. Really, for this pose, we're looking for our whole back body is supported on the mat, and the leg is crossing the midline, finding the stretch on the outside edge of the leg. Take one more nice deep breath here, feeling your back supported. And then we'll bring the foot back up to center, release the foot from the strap, send your leg long on the mat, and then maybe reach your arms overhead if that feels okay for your shoulders. You can start to rotate the wrists and the ankles with each movement, just noticing the sensations, allowing that movement to help lubricate the joints. We'll bring the hands back down towards the hips. If you're using a bolster or block on the side of the body, you might transfer it over. So I'm just moving it over to the left side. We'll take our strap and wrap it around the ball of the foot. Now, I actually did buy an extra long strap, and I'll show you why. You don't have to do this part, but if in case you were interested in why I did, it was because what I like to do is actually bring the strap behind me. So it's in a giant loop. I have that little ring tightened, and then I bring it behind my armpits and then stretch the left foot into the strap. And this way I just don't have to hold on so tightly. I can allow the weight of my body to help hold the strap. It was kind of a fun fact. With that D-ring, you can adjust the strap by pulling it a little tighter if you need to. And you can either rest your arms on the strap if it's looped behind you, or rest them at your sides. Either way, notice if you can soften your grip. Sometimes we're holding on so tightly. Maybe you can invite a little bit of softness in your hands, thinking about what is the right amount of effort. Allowing your jaw to soften. Allowing your breath to cascade down the back of your leg. And remember, it can be any amount. If it's pointing down further, you don't want to overdo it. So just find that just right place for you. Take one more nice deep breath here, and then we'll open the foot out to the left. So you might move the strap into your left hand, both reins of the strap. Allow the left leg to open out any amount, and you might find that pillow or block or wall space to help support the leg. Allow your breath to cascade down the inseam of your leg. Allowing yourself this moment to be with your body. Offering it supports, softness, stillness, maybe even a little rest. Take one more nice deep breath here. And then when you're ready, we'll float the leg back up to center. Move the reins of the strap into the right hand now. Allow the left leg to just gently cross the midline. Of course, this is your own practice, so if you think it would feel better to come into a twist, you could lift the body, but where I'm aiming for here in this stretch is really the outside edge of your left leg, your IT band. Maybe you feel it into your hips. Notice where you can soften, where you can release. Take one more nice deep breath here, and then we'll come back to center. Go ahead and release your foot from the strap. You can toss the strap off to the side, and then we'll find a long body stretch, reaching the legs long, reaching the arms past the ears. You could rotate the wrists and the ankles, and then reverse the direction. Take one more nice deep breath, and then we'll float the hands back down. Press the feet back onto the mat. And we're going to do a little bit for tuning into our deep core muscles that are really like underneath the surface. So we're going to play around with some hip tilts. So with your feet on the mat, and you could also do this from a seated position in a chair, we're going to start to play around with thinking about the pelvis as a nice big bowl, and then tipping that bowl forward as we inhale. So imagine your pelvis tilting forward. You can feel your low back peel away from the mat. Grow the belly, expand with the breath. And then on your exhale, you're going to gather in the whole entire resources of your core, your belly button, drawing it towards your spine. You can start to tilt your pelvis back, pressing your low back towards the mat and slightly lifting your sit bones up towards towards your knees. So go ahead and play around with that pelvic tilt with your breath. Inhaling to expand, exhaling a slight contraction, a pulling in. And as you do this movement, you might just play around with your own resolve. We're thinking about our solar plex area, our belly button area, our deep core, our center for our will and our fire. So allow yourself to just feel a little bit strong, strengthened. And you might start to grow this pelvic tilt as much as you like that feels comfortable for you. Maybe starting to press into the heels and lift the hips. And then on your inhale breath, softening your spine, your pelvis back down. Just allow yourself this opportunity to explore. One more nice deep breath. And then from here, we'll come back to stillness. Let's cross the right ankle over the top of the left thigh. And you can stay right here. You might feel this in your right glute. You could deepen the stretch by drawing the shape in towards the body. And if you had a wall or some strong furniture close by, you could put your foot on the furniture, and that would help so that you didn't have to pull the shape into the body. You could also use that strap, wrapping the strap behind your left thigh and then bringing that shape into the body with the strap. So that just helps lengthen through your arms. So find whatever positioning is going to work for you in figure 4 pose. At the beginning of class, we were talking about this pose called pigeon. And this is actually a very similar stretch. It's just on our backs. So I think in that sense, hopefully it's a little bit more comfortable. But you might even do this sometimes when you're sitting in a chair, crossing your right ankle over your left thigh and just feeling that sensation of your glutes. Allowing that stretch to find its way into your hips. Maybe you can imagine for a moment bubbles of gratitude for your intricate hip, circling around that joint with compassion, gratitude, and curiosity. We'll take one more nice deep breath here. And then you can release that side, bring both feet onto the mat or onto your prop. And then you could lengthen through your right leg, bring your left ankle on your right knee or on your right thigh, and then start to draw that shape into the body. Maybe wrapping a strap around the right thigh so that you can help lengthen your arms. Or perhaps you can weave your hand behind your thigh, whatever would feel good to you in your body. Remembering this is your practice, allowing yourself to soften wherever you can find that bit of rest. Send your breath and your gratitude into your left hip. your brain starts to notice differences from left to right, can you offer yourself compassion and curiosity? Take one more nice deep breath here, and then we'll release this side. I'm going to slide away from my prop so that I'm back on my mat, the middle of my mat, and then we're going to come into a twist. So you can bring your arms back into a letter T, press your heels into the mat, and just slide your hips a little to the right, allowing both of your knees to fall over to the left. You can open your arms out into a letter T, allowing your shoulders to rest heavy on the earth. And you might turn your gaze over towards your right hand. Maybe it would feel good to bring your left hand onto your right knee. But only if that helps. We can invite a little bit of movement into the body from here. So on your next inhale, float your right hand up towards the sky, and then you can roll all the way onto your left side, reaching your right fingertips past your left hand. And then we'll glide the right arm across the chest, sweeping it open into our twist. If that feels good, take 2 more rounds like this. Sweeping the arm over the body, imagining a nice big rainbow passing over you. And then allow your arm to caress your body as you open back up into your twist. We'll take a few more rounds like this. Originally I said 2 more, but who's counting? One more nice deep breath on this side. And then the next time you roll over onto your left side, I'm going to position myself a little bit back. You could prop your head up on your hand, your left hand, so you're kind of in a, sleepover pose. You might bring your right fingertips out in front to help stabilize you. And then we're going to just do a little bit strengthening the glutes. This is actually from physical therapy. But when we do this, we can help support the knees and the legs with our walking. And we were talking about hiking. So this is a good one to practice. These are called clamshells. So you can glue the heels together. And then on your inhale breath, go ahead and lift the top knee. Exhale, gently lower. Take your time and just allow yourself to explore this movement, following the pace of your own breath, allowing yourself to breathe into your hips, into your glutes. You can always skip these or really take your time, take some nice rests in between. Take one more nice deep breath in your clamshells. And then we're going to try another type of twist to help stretch through that glute. So from here, I'm going to slide my knees back. So now my knees are in a straight line with the body. My heels are back behind me. From here, I'll lift the right knee and bring it either down all the way to the floor or maybe to a block or a pillow. So it just depends on how far you want to go. You can allow that knee to fall down towards the ground so you might feel a bit of stretch through your hip, and then kind of soften your right shoulder back. So you could bring your right hand to your right shoulder. Allow your shoulder to open. And then this part is just for fun. This is not required. It's just if you want to give it a try. You have your bottom foot there. You see that left foot? Maybe you reach down with your right hand and grasp hold of the foot. But again, only if that feels good, if it feels accessible. If you're like, no, that's crazy, just allow your arm to rest on your hip or your shoulder instead. All just options, choices that we can make, things that we can explore. You can always come back to your own satya, truthfulness. They call this shape cat chasing its tail. Of course, my cat is off camera sleeping, not doing her job of yoga at all. Take one more nice deep breath. If you're in this bind, we call this a bind, holding the foot, you might just give your longest toe a little squeeze, release the foot, and then we'll roll back onto our backs, unwinding from the twist. You might take a moment to hug your knees in towards your chest, maybe roll your nose up towards your knees, squeezing into a little ball. And then we're going to get ready for the other side, but I'm going to just roll over so I can keep facing the camera. So from here, we're going to get ready for our twist. And I realize I don't really need this blanket on my mat, so I'm going to toss it off to the side. For the twist, you can plant your feet on the mat and then scoot your hips a little to the left so that your knees can stack over to the right. And then you can open your arms out into a letter T. Just move anything you have in your way off to the side. And you could stay here just relaxing into your twist, finding any kind of supports. Maybe sending your gaze over towards your left hand. And then if you want to try those little rainbow arms, you could pick up your left hand, start to reach it over the body, and maybe reach your left fingertips past your right hand. Go ahead and continue like this, sweeping the arm across the chest, opening back out into a twist. And continue a few more rounds like that, following the pace of your own breath. Okay, let's keep going like that. Just swimming your arm over the top of the body. Nice big rainbow. Sliding the arm across the chest to open back up into your twist. The next time your arm comes over to the right, we'll dial that right arm up, and you can either rest your head on your bicep, or maybe like a little sleepover, you prop your head up on your hand. And then with your knees out in front, we're going to try those clamshells next. So you can glue the heels together. Inhale, lift the left knee away from the right, and then exhale to gently lower it back down. Take a few rounds of breath, take your own time, tuning your awareness into your hip joint, your glutes, finding gratitude, compassion, and curiosity about these sensations in your body. And it's okay that if it doesn't look the exact same as me, this is your own unique body. Notice how you can try to use it to celebrate your life. Take one more nice deep breath, or as many as you'd like. You can brag to your physical therapist later. I did my clamshells in yoga. Then we'll slide the knees back. So now the knees are in a line with the body, and my heels are kicked back behind me. You could lift that left knee up and then place it either on a block, a pillow, or maybe it feels okay to bring it all the way to the ground. I have that long, narrow bolster. That actually would have been really good for this one, but it's out of reach, and I'm okay with my knee on the ground. But just if you want to prop it up, another option would be to bring a block underneath the knee. Give yourself whatever supports feel good. That's what I would like to do, is to be able to empower you to find what feels good for you in your body, what feels true. You might bring your left hand to your shoulder and allow that shoulder to sink back. It's not going to touch the ground, well, at least mine doesn't, but just opening through the heart. And then maybe you unfurl the fingertips, reach them back. Oh, there's your foot. Another option would be, if you wanted to use the strap for the bind, you could bring the strap into the hand and then maybe lasso the foot. So that will help lengthen through your arms. But it's quite awkward, isn't it? And then just allow yourself to gently soften and settle in. Maybe even resting your head on your bicep. Allow yourself to soften here. And then we'll take one more nice deep breath. You can release the foot if and when you're ready. Roll onto your back. And then you can either hug your knees in toward your chest and rock and roll up and down the length of your spine into a seat, or just roll onto one side and we'll come to a seated position. So either for sitting, it can be really helpful. We were talking about how uncomfortable it can be maybe to sit cross-legged. So you could take a blanket or a pillow, and I'm just folding my blanket up. You'd be surprised at how helpful it can be to make a little padding to sit on. Oops. Okay, from your seat or from hands and knees, whatever you prefer, and this could be in a chair as well, we can do a few rounds of cat-cow. So I'll just demonstrate it from a chair, and actually with the chair, I like to put some padding on the chair. So I'm going to demonstrate this from the chair in case sitting cross-legged was uncomfortable. So from a chair or from hands and knees or from a cross-legged seat, you could come to the edge if you're on a chair, and we'll just do a few rounds of cat-cow. We're going to help loosen up through the spine. So you can press your palms onto your thighs or your knees, and then press in as you inhale, lift the heart, and then exhale, draw the belly button in towards the spine to round into your cat. Go ahead and find a few rounds of breath, just finding whatever version of cat and cow is going to work for you. And I like to do this on hands and knees, so I'm going to come back to the floor. You can do it from your seat, cross-legged seat. And then remember, another good way to help the knees is to pad them with extra support like a blanket. So we'll plant the palms underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips if you want to be in a tabletop position, and you can inhale, lifting the heart for cow pose. Exhale, round into the spine for cat. So go ahead and find any version that works for you. After a few rounds of cat and cow, it might feel good to help lubricate the spine by finding some other movements, maybe circling the belly button. Doing that from either a seat or a chair or hands and knees. As you move your spine, imagine those bubbles of gratitude once more circling around your amazingly intricate spine. And if you're circling in one direction, go ahead and allow yourself the opportunity to explore the other direction. One more nice deep breath. And then if you're seated and you're comfortable, you can stay there. If you're on hands and knees, you could find rest in child's pose. So you might bring the big toes to touch, open the knees out wide, and then sink the hips back to find your child's pose. I just thought I heard something, so I was wondering if somebody had a question. Okay. And then if you'd like a supported child's pose, you could use a bolster under the body for support. And this could look like bringing the knees to open, bringing the bolster in between the knees, and then allowing the torso to come down and rest. Maybe bringing one cheek down to the mat or to the bolster. And if you had like couch cushions or big pillows, this could work for that as well, a supported child's pose. After a few rounds of breath, you could pick up the head and allow the opposite cheek to come down and rest. Take a few rounds of breath in your child's pose or whatever position feels good to you. And then when you're ready, you can press back up into your tabletop. And we're going to make our way onto our belly next, if that feels comfortable for you. So to come onto the belly, I'm going to move the blanket off to the side. And then you can lower down onto your belly. We'll plant the palms, the elbows underneath the shoulders. Press the tops of the feet onto the mat. Allow your gaze to come forward any amount, but keep some length through the back of your neck. On your inhale, you could roll your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale, allow them to glide down your back. Go ahead and take 2 more rounds, just finding some nice gentle rotations for the shoulders, if that feels comfortable. The next time your shoulders melt away from your ears, you can pause for a moment here in your Sphinx pose, gently dragging your hands back toward your heart as you lift the heart forward. On the next exhale, you might turn your gaze any amount to the left, peeking over your left shoulder. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, peek over the right shoulder. And then inhale, come back to center. You can stack your palms, spread your elbows out to the sides, lower your forehead down to rest on the back of your hands. We call this crocodile, and the Sanskrit for that is Makrasana pose. Allow your breath to move throughout the back of your body. Just like a balloon, feel the rise and fall of your breath. And imagine your breath is nourishing your back body, your seat of self-care. If it would feel good, you could bend the knees and allow the heels to sway from side to side, maybe massaging through the belly, the thighs. And then we'll take one more nice deep breath. You could soften your feet back down. We'll press up through our tabletop. And then you can walk your knees forward, come onto your seat. You can put your feet on the mat. And then we're just gonna play around a little bit with boat pose before coming to our back for our final rest, Shavasana. So you can bring your hands behind your thighs and just gently start to lean back, lifting the heart. You might lift one shin and the other shin, playing around, maybe one together, or leave them on the ground. Maybe reach your hands out in front and just lean the torso back, feeling that bit of strength that's required at your core, at your center of will, your fire. And then you can grab hold behind your thighs, roll onto your back, hug your knees in towards your chest, and maybe open your knees out to the sides. You can keep hugging behind or walk your hands up to your ankles, your calves, or your feet for happy baby pose, Ananda Balasana. You might rock a little bit side to side. Let a warm smile wash across your face. And then when you're ready, release your feet. Bring them back down to the ground. Now it can be a little bit gentler on the low back. We were talking about padding underneath the low back. So putting a little blanket or something underneath the low back. But it can be gentler to come into a constructive rest. So that's where we started class, with the feet wide, the knees tenting in towards each other, your arms resting at your sides. Or feel free to tuck a pillow underneath the knees. You could use a big round bolster or any other pillow, And that could be helpful too, just to give yourself some support. Allow yourself to come into your final resting pose, corpse pose, Shavasana. Allowing yourself to gently settle. Allow any thoughts in the mind to soften and fade. Maybe you allow them to pass by like clouds passing overhead. You could soften through your forehead. Allow your eyelids to either close over your eyes like soft, gentle blankets, or keep the gaze softened, turning your awareness inward. Allow your jaw to soften. Allow your shoulders to rest heavy on the earth. Maybe you could imagine your body is laying on a warm sandy beach. Just feel that impression that your body is making on the earth. This unique impression that only you can make. Allow your inner awareness to walk those stair steps of your spine down into your heart center. Returning to your heart center. Can you see that message there? Coming back to the idea of satya, truthfulness, and the quote from the beginning of class, living the life that cries to be lived from the depth of our being frees up a lot of energy and vitality. The juices flow. Everyone around us benefits from the aliveness that we feel. Since you're in your own home environment, you're welcome to stay longer and rest. Take a moment to assess your own personal battery. Just notice what you need to feel your most vital self. Ready to reawaken the body and come back into the present moment, you can start to deepen your breath. Allow a little movement to reanimate the body by wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. You might take a long body stretch, reaching your arms past your ears. Then maybe you want to roll onto one side, coming into a fetal position, allowing your head to rest on your bicep or your upper arm. And then whenever you're ready, you can press yourself up into a seat. You might invite your hands to meet at your heart center. And then allow your head to gently bow towards the wisdom of your loving heart. It's such an honor and privilege to guide you through your practice today. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which means peace to you all. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you to our musical accompaniment, and I will stop the recording so you can ask any questions.